Welcome to Mike's podcast. This is Matt. Solo dolo today. Don't worry, Jeremiah's coming back. But today's conversation, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the root of all evils. Money. I mean, most people say it's the root of all evils. Some people say that money can't buy you happiness. There's a bunch of lines and different things that we've heard throughout the years about money. So I thought we just talk about it. I mean, I think it's one of those major things that I guess we go through without speaking about. I mean, it's wrapped up in almost everything that we do in life. So I just thought we have probably a discussion about just what it is, what my perspective of it is. I mean, I'm by myself today, so first, I guess we start out just with what I feel like money is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can agree with either aspect of the money's the root of all evil or money can't buy you happiness. You know, for me, I feel like it can do both. Of course, it all still also does rely upon your belief system. What do you believe? You know, religious beliefs and just your philosophy in life. It's hard for me to feel a certain way about it because I'm kind of going based off of like just the everyday influence that money has, and just from a perspective of seeing how money can do some things that can bring happiness and can be a source of evil. I mean, just starting from I guess from a standpoint of what we would consider evil, I guess you could say. I mean, money, you know, crime, most crimes kind of revolve around money. You know, a lot of people, robberies, different, you know, murder, you know, theft, you know, and also the things that people do to get money that can be considered a crime. You know, you got the white collar crime, then you just got your low level crime where it's like selling things on the street corner or whatnot. You know, depending on what it is, could be a person, could be certain different pharmaceuticals. You know, so yeah, you have all of those things wrapped up in it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the evil part is kind of almost self-explanatory, but I also do feel as though it also comes with the aspect of bringing happiness. You know, I don't think there's nothing we do in life. I mean, there's obviously things that you can separate what makes you happy from money, but for the most part, because of how intertwined it is with just our everyday life and our loved ones and being able to provide and protect and do the things that we need to do, it requires money. When I always think about it, it's like the happiness aspect is almost impossible, in my opinion. Yeah, of course, it's my opinion. To 100% be happy without money in the way that life is. You know, I always look at it like, you know, from a standpoint of anywhere I wanted to go in the world, it requires money. I feel like most of the people that are at the top can see the world. You know, they can go anywhere in the world. They've been all around the world, and you see these people enjoying life and, you know, seeing all the world has to offer as far as its beauty, just the scenery, you know, being able to see different cultures, experience different foods, and, you know, different experiences. You know, you can't do that without money. I mean, you possibly could, like if you, I don't know, paddled across the ocean or whatever. I don't know, but no, I don't see nobody doing nothing like that. I mean, everything that if you're trying to have a great time, you're gonna have to pay for a ticket, And when you get there, you're gonna have to do a bunch of, passports and everything like that. So it's kind of like, in order to really experience the world, you need money. Also it's just the traveling. A lot of people don't like traveling by themselves. You want people to come with you. And a lot of times, because of the fact that maybe you don't even have enough money, you probably saved up enough money just so you can go, you can experience that, the world, to try to get someone else that lives a separate life to get the money, the time off from work, and all that stuff just to experience it with you is another thing. It's not like you can just pick up and go wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do while you're there and all this other stuff. So I do feel like a lot of that aspect of, experiencing life to the fullest. Not saying the fullest is like, a lot of people think of it as like, jumping off a bridge, just doing some crazy, you only live once type thing. I'm just talking about the general aspect of just seeing the world and experiencing it to its fullest. You can't do it without money. And this isn't like a video that's kind of based around like, hey man, I want everybody to love money. I don't even think we should have the feeling we should even be living in that space of where we can't enjoy life because we don't have the money. It's more so kind of perspective of just, has anybody else ever had that idea that they've locked almost all of the basic essential things that every person should just have behind a paywall, in a sense. Like, you can't do without money. They lock it behind a paywall. They give you just enough to where you have enough to survive, but you always need to come back and work hard to just get enough just to live any sort of resemblance of a healthy, active experience within life, within the small amount of time that we're here on Earth. So it's one of those type of things. I mean, money, speaking from that standpoint, is just that. It just really is, just from my perspective of how I see it. You break it down into every aspect, as far as like, I guess you could say, like, even us being as a species, a human species, I think we're weaker because of money. Because everything is so financially driven, it feels like as though like it doesn't require, most of the people that have the most amount of money aren't the fittest, the strongest, or whatever it is. I'm not trying to bash anybody. If you got money, I'm not just, you weak because you ain't got money. I'm just saying most of the times people that have a lot of money aren't doing the, physical, laborious type of jobs, So what it does, it's even baked into how we mate select as far as who you wind up being with. And it's kind of almost impossible to separate the two, because everybody still wants to be able to be in a comfortable position, being able to pass down generational wealth so that their children don't have as hard of a time as they did. So you try to make sure that you match up with someone that is financially stable, and it kind of distorts everything. I mean, are you with this person because they're a good person, or because they financially have a lot that they can do, they can show you and give you an experience, and you can have a more comfortable life, which shouldn't be nothing wrong with it, but then it kind of messes up the dynamic of why you're with a person. On the women's side, it's definitely that, because they're looking for a provider, protector. And then on the men's side, you don't know whether the person that you're with, they're there for you. And some people, might turn on a blind eye to it to say like, hey man, I'm okay, as long as I have somebody, or probably they know in the background possibly that's the situation, but they're okay with it. And we kind of come to grips with those type of dynamics. Like she's okay with not having the guy probably that she wants, and he's okay with her not wanting him for him, but he has the money so he can have that type of person, and it's not for everybody. I don't think that everybody's doing it that way. I do feel like there's a lot of people are genuinely trying to find people they're attracted to personality wise and everything as well, but that money aspect does play a big role, and that's how much and I always say they because it's more conspiracy theories than anything, because I can't really prove it. It should go without saying that there's someone that's manipulating this system in a way to where, the minimum wage hasn't gone up in forever. Corporate people, the people at the big wigs, the people at the top have so much money. There's no way for them to spend within several lifetimes. And then the people at the bottom have the very least amount of wealth to do almost anything. They barely can live the lives that they can barely live. You know what I'm saying? So everything, this money thing, is baked into just our everyday smallest things. Is baked into our relationships with people. It's baked into everything. And whether we acknowledge it or not, I think it's just one of those things that I think we should just be aware of. I don't think that everybody's thinking about it that way and how serious it can be. Always be like, I guess not kind of jumping too much off the topic or whatnot, but I always look at, like, for instance, crime in a sense. Well, smaller crimes, I do feel like they're only exclusive to poor people. Like I always look at like speeding or something like that, or some fine that you would get. It only affects us. I was like, what's a $100 speeding ticket to a person that's a multi-millionaire? They got so much money. Like, is a fine for only poor people? Because to us, we have to miss a day of work. It's costing us money, and then that $100 is $100. It's not something we just have lying around, But if a rich person does the same crime, it's a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, how is that punishment for them? It seems like it only really affects us at the bottom. So things like that, it makes you think a little bit differently about money, in my opinion, as far as that's concerned, as far as going as far as the relationship aspect, and then also just talking about just crime in general. The people at the bottom are fighting over a lot of stuff at the bottom because we don't have a lot of stuff. Crime is rampant because of lack of resources. It's not really a lack of resources. That's the other thing, is like there's so much of everything that it shouldn't even be any person fighting for the basic essentials, food, shelter, health. It seems as though they've put a lot of stuff to where it's so hard to get anything in this regular life that we're fighting each other. The people at the bottom are fighting each other while these people at the top kind of just live a life of luxury, and they're the ones that's always kind of preaching the fact that, oh man, money can't buy you happiness and all this other stuff, which is kind of like it shouldn't be that way. Like I said, I don't agree with it being the fact that money should bring happiness, but that's just what it is, because they put everything behind a paywall. How do you not look at it in the space of where you need money? You can put your child in, if it comes to children, you can put your children in a nice school. You can put them in a nice neighborhood where there's not a lot of crime and things like that. You can show them the world. You can, leave them things, they never have to worry for anything. They don't have to see you stress out as much because you're trying to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Even just having children, money is baked into it. You're thinking about, hey man, I want to have another child. How much does a 2-bedroom cost? Oh, you want to have more than one child? You can probably share a room with 2 girls. They can share the room, But if you have a boy and a girl, now you got to get 3 bedrooms. So this is what goes on in people's mind. Not everybody. Probably people ain't even thinking about that. Some people ain't, but I think about it. You want children? It costs. Clothes for the children, feeding the children, make sure they're staying out of trouble and all this other stuff. It costs money. Just being able to have access to an education and health, making sure the people around you is taken care of, health-wise. Pharmaceuticals and things like that you need, as you get older, and or just trying to live life, and also like just living the stressful life that people do live. You tend to have, ailments and things like that. Money is required. There's certain things, if you don't have the money, you can't afford to get this done, or it's kind of weighing out, do I go to the hospital or do I just tough it out, type of thing. And I don't think that people should live in a space where that is the situation, where you're debating on going to get some type of help because do you have the money to do it, you know what I'm saying? And the people at the top, I always do, like I said, it's maybe just conspiracy theory, and I don't know. I just they pay you just enough to come back and want more. If everybody was a millionaire, who's bagging the groceries? Who's paving the roads? Who's doing the plumbing and all, sewage and all this stuff? Who's taking care of all this stuff? So what it is that I feel as though that there's people, including the government, that are trying to keep people within a space of where they're constantly having to get more and more money. Every time there's a situation, it's like, I remember it's a little bit after COVID. I remember everybody had this thing on the news. It was called the Great Resignation, when everybody was supposed to go back to work after COVID, and everybody was supposed to resume the jobs that they had before, and then people just didn't go back. People started finding hobbies, people started picking up skills, people started doing things like this. And what happened was, there was this small push I felt. I remember there was jobs that were increasing the pay for people, Before, I remember everybody they may have been making less money, probably $10. Then they boosted up to, now you can make $15. The people that was at $15, now you make $20. And everybody was like, oh, look, they're making more money and all. But then, simultaneously, it seemed like it happened at the same time as that was happening. People were getting a little bit of more money when they went back to work. It seemed as though inflation just came out of nowhere. Like, what? Inflation, we're hit with inflation, and we're told because of COVID and it's all these other things that happen. And so now food is expensive. We're talking about, I remember at the time it was the eggs, there's always eggs cost $10. I don't know. It was all these prices going up, and people were like talking about inflation, was on the news and everything like that. So then that little $5 raise you may have got, or whatever, you was making 10, now you're making 15, or you was making 15, now you making 20. Now that doesn't mean anything, because now the rent that you was paying before, you might have paid $900 a month, now it's like $1,500. It just balances itself back out. Okay, well, now that extra money that you got just go now because of inflation. Like, I'm like, how's that work with an apartment? Nothing changed. I understand like goods is coming in and buying it from the store and all this stuff, but how did my rent go up? Nothing happened. It's like every place nothing got renovated. Nothing changed. It's just like, oh, we're just gonna raise your rent by a couple $100 now. It's like, I don't, it just seemed as though, for me, like I said, I think you call me conspiracy theorist, I don't know, but I'm just saying, it just seemed as though, same time when they were giving out these raises, the corporate people or whatever, it seemed as though at the same time the government says, oh, inflation, and now we got to do this and all that, and then we kind of just, there's probably somebody that'll be like, oh no, I can explain it, it's because of the blah 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 blah, whatever it is. But I feel like they can excuse away everything, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel as though that it just don't make any sense. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like there always some reason why the person at the bottom can never get to the point where they're comfortable and can just live a nice, healthy life without worrying about the next whatever, that happens. It just seems as though it's always something. And I just don't like everything being so expensive, you know what I'm saying? It feels as though the basic essentials should just be guaranteed. And maybe, like, I know there's people that's always complaining about, oh yeah, man, these people that just want hands out, they got food stamps and all this other stuff. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, we make so much food at this point that we're just throwing away things. Like, we're, killing animals just to throw them away because they don't want to give it to a homeless person. There's people to solve hunger, world hunger, they'd rather throw food in the trash. You know what I'm saying? We're killing more than what we need to kill for just basic survival within the human race. Like, there shouldn't be nobody starving. Habitat for Humanity owns so many abandoned houses right now. You could put a person in the house and there should be nobody living on the street. Like, I just don't understand how we live in a space where you see this stuff happening on a regular basis. Like, people just throwing things away that's perfectly good that they could give to somebody because of money. They don't have the money to purchase it or whatever it is. And I get they need to pay their bills and stuff too. So it's like, it's kind of like, it's almost impossible. You can't just give anything for free, because in order for you to live, you got to make money to pay for, it's like, so money, I mean, it's just, it's both. We rely so much on it, and it's no way around it. There's no way to avoid having the money or going out and getting money, because if you don't do it, what the consequences are. They make it plain, and I think that's probably what it is, They want these people homeless because they want to say, hey, look, if you don't pay and you don't, go with the system and all that stuff, this could be you. You could be these people living over here on the street. You know what I'm saying? That's their way of kind of telling you got to get in line or you're going to be out there on the street. Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants to live on the street. So everybody kind of does what we have to do to make sure that we get the money, we pay the taxes, we pay our rent, we do our, we're a good law-abiding citizen. But I just don't think it's right, man. Why is it that only the people that can afford it, can see the world, and then all the people at the bottom can't do nothing? We can't. I'll be watching these traveling shows. I love National Geographics and the Discovery Channel and all this stuff. Planet Earth series. I love it. But that's the only time you can see it. You can only see the beautiful world from a video on Netflix or some streaming service. You're not gonna be able to see it if you ain't got the money. So I just I don't know. It just bothers me. It's one of the things that's bothered me, not my whole life, because sometimes I think growing up, you're not really kind of taught that. We're kind of just in this little rat race, little spinny wheel type thing. You don't really question it as a kid. You get older, you know that you have to get a job because you want to get the things that you want. You're not really thinking about why is the system the way it is. We just seen our grandparents do it, our fathers and mothers do it, and then now we're the adults, and now we're doing it. And now it's like, no matter what you do, unless you somehow manage to get some major skill or something, you're talented and and you just get out of your situation. Maybe you're educated enough to get out of the situation, and then now you're up there with all the other people, enjoying life. But the moment you stop doing something, you're back down here with us. I just, I don't know, I don't know if everybody's thinking like this, but this is just one of my thoughts that I've always just, I've thought to myself, I've always kind of just thought, well, hey, has anybody else sat around and thought about this? Not only that, it's just like, I think if money didn't exist, or people were just able to do what they wanted, I mean, there'll always still be crime. I don't think there's no way to get rid of crime, because people are always going to be jealous of something somebody else got, and it's going to be what it is. But I think there'd be a lot less crime if it wasn't for the fact of money. And racism. I don't think racism would exist. I think it's really because it feels like they're telling us that, that person's depriving you of something. And they have something that they can point to and say, hey, look, the jobs and stuff like that, which is also included, the money thing, they're taking jobs away from us. And it's like, I'm thinking, like, who's the one hiring these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I don't know. I just feel like a lot of what we're stressing over and problems and the things that we're going through is like, if it wasn't for this money thing, you know what I'm saying, wars and all this other stuff, it just, I don't know. I just feel like we think we kind of get, too wrapped up in what another person is doing and stuff, and the people at the bottom and the people at the top, and it's like, in reality, I feel like it's all this little thing that they kind of dangle in front of you, and you gotta kind of keep running towards it, and you'll never really ever achieve the thing that you're chasing after, because they have all the control over it. They can always pull it away. They could give you something, like, they give your tax returns, they give you a little stimulus check. They do these little things where they give you a large sum of money, but it's just not enough to really do anything with. It's like just enough to kind of enjoy life for a little bit. People aren't going to invest it in a certain way, or it's probably just not enough to invest to really do anything to get you out of the situation. And also they give it to people that aren't educated on those type of things, or how to manage the money in a proper way. That's why it's never included in the basic education that you get for free from a public school. Because the more ignorant that we are about finances and money and who's controlling things and manipulating things, the more they have control over you, because it's kind of like, well, they don't even know what's going on. They don't know how to get out of the situations they're in. I'm not just putting this on them. I think it's just a thing that we should, as a people, we should be more enlightened about it. You know what I'm saying? And once we're enlightened, I guess more, we really start to digest what exactly is happening. I think we'll be more conscientious about how we spend money and things like that, and possibly even start working together and seeing how we can come together to probably help one another get out of the situations that we're in. But as long as they got us fighting over stuff, the small resources that we're allowed to have, we'll always be at ends where we're kind of just looking at another person and what they have, and how come we don't have it, and things like that. And it's all surrounded by money. So yes, money is the root of all evils. Not all evils, but of most evils. And yes, money can buy you happiness. But I think that once you know what's going on, I think you're more aware of, how it's involved, how it is involved in bringing evil, and how it can bring happiness. And I think we're just more prepared for life, and not just fighting each other, kind of looking at the system and seeing it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just thought that would be a conversation I thought I'd have today, you know what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think. Thank you for the support. Please like and subscribe. If you like little small videos like this, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because I can make it happen. I can do little small videos like this from time to time. We can have these little one-on-ones. But just let me know. You know what I'm saying? But that'll be it for today. You know what I'm saying? So we'll catch you next time on Mike's podcast. Jeremiah will be back, by the way.